everyone, welcome to Kick-On's, the perfect destination for post-footy with the former Port Adelaide great in Kane Cornes and the former Adelaide good in Josh Jenkins. Kano, great to see you.
Good start from you, Joe. Lovely start. He's on fire already.
Unbelievable.
That's fair.
It's probably fair. I've been called worse, Richo.
That's fair, and I do it with a lot of love. But I'll tell you what, I look towards you. You are our captain. You are the main man behind the whole show. But we need you to deliver. And at the moment, you're delivering verbally, but not on your tips. What went on?
Well, I couldn't be any closer, could I? Now, my leg for our team multi was Jake Saligo to get 30 plus. That is in the last quarter with about 3 minutes to go. Pick it up, Jake. Pick it up. And then this is with about 40 seconds to go. And just mark the footy. Go back and handball it off or kick it and get your 30. I had Saligo for 30 plus. I had Adelaide to win. And I know I've let the team down.
And
it gets worse, mate. You early crowed. You don't even know what early crow means. And you've early crowed the Crows.
So this was at quarter time when he'd had 10 in the first quarter. It was looking really good. You'd already saluted.
Correct.
You'd already
the Crows were going to win by 1,000.
The Crows were clearly going to win easily. Saligo had 10 at quarter time. He needed 30, 20 more for the rest of the game. And he's let us down.
And you went with it. You can think it,
I
don't
was
ever say it.
So confident.
He ended up with 29 disposals. We missed by one.
And I was working that game. He went down the race for a period in that last quarter as well. So he spent some time downstairs. So very, very close. But Richo and I, we're doing the job.
But we're a team.
Mate, forget it. We're a team. It's the footy trip. And our footy trip fund, I'm taking over this week because we are cast. One thing you did steer us into good was King and Big Ben.
King, look at him, he's a superstar. 15 targets inside 50 against the Eagles, Kane, and not a lot of pressure or help for the young Eagles defender in this one. And Ben King just did what he pleased and kicked 6 for.
Nice step ladder there. Can you keep that up? I mean,
Look
there's you on the feed.
I don't really care.
There you go.
I don't really care.
$5.80 when he hit the score 4 or more. It was the Eagles. You don't care in that game, but just on him.
I love him. I love him.
Coleman medal fancy, I would have thought, and one of the hot favourites for that medal.
Love his game. He's got a bit more agility and a little bit more physicality than his brother Matt.
He plays too. That's the good point.
That helps.
Yeah.
The fact that you have 8,900 people in your feed and only 93 followed you into that bet says a lot.
How many have you got on your feed?
Not many. I've just started. Let's get into the big topics and. This one's frustrated me during the week, and that is, are Port now irrelevant in 2025? I feel like that you've been the man who's been right at the front of this discussion.
Relevant is an interesting word. I thought they set the club up to fail with this succession plan announcement, and when you move on from the coach and when you think he's not your guy, to keep him in the chair for 12 months was always going to be confusing. It was going to be difficult. Who's sending the message? Who's in charge? Josh Carr from the box, Hinkley from the boundary. Who's picking the players? And it couldn't have started any worse. And what I saw, usually the players fight for Ken and they give effort. I didn't see any of that on Saturday night, which is alarming.
Well, there's nothing to fight for, really, because he's gone. He's going at the end of the season. So
you fight for yourself, though. What's it got to do with Ken?
Kane's view is right in terms of the players have all. When Port Adelaide have been under pressure, you think back to the bad finals loss against Geelong. They've always fought for him, and he's always been able to get them up and get them to fight for a moment or for a game. There's nothing to fight for because Ken is going to be moved on. So I heard you say that effectively that he's been sacked but been asked to stick around. That's a really weird situation. If we find a better host than you, but we say, we want you to
stick around,
to hang around,
it won't be hard.
We'll probably just say, well, thanks, but no thanks. Off I go.
Richo, $3.50 to make the 8. They're not making the 8.
See, I just think you give him the respect that he deserves and work out
That's a big price for a team that's only zipping one and made a prelim, though.
Yeah, but I think
that is a big price.
There's a large amount of issues with their list, and there's so many teams that are in a better position than Port.
What about Sydney? Where are you at with Sydney, both of you? Obviously 0 and 2 at the moment. Far too early to judge. What do you think?
I'm okay. I like what I've seen in their 2 games. They've played really good opponents. They've played the hottest team in the comp, which is Hawthorn. They've played the premiers in Brisbane, and they've been really competitive in both. But Dean Cox said prior to the season he wants to fix their defensive stuff and their contest numbers. They've been smashed in the contest. Yes, against 2 good teams, but I still think they're a good chance to make the finals, but there's a few areas in their lineup that are weakened. And, Gordon really hurts, as does Mills.
We'll be hesitant to write them off because they've done it before from zipping 6, I think. So they've been there and done that. I've got alarm bells ringing everywhere for Sydney. I was cool on them before the season. Yeah, Brisbane had no right to win that game. Brisbane hadn't trained for a week. Brisbane lost Charlie Cameron, the star small forward, before the game. They lost Kyle Lohmann in the first quarter. Starcevic went down. They had no right to win that game of footy. So I've got real concerns about Sydney because of. I don't know if they will make the 8. I don't know if they'll make the 8 because
surely they'll make the 8.
Nothing that Dean Cox has spoken about in the summer has improved. So they were beaten. The other thing he spoke about around contested possession was loose ball gets. And I'm going to track this each and every week, Richo. Minus 12 loose ball gets against Brisbane. So they just haven't got the ability to get on that ball that spills, get on the ball and win those contested situations. So I'm going to watch them closely, and we know about the personnel issues at either end of the ground.
So is that a chair or is that the fence? And can you get off sitting on the fence? Will they make the 8 or not?
No.
Good.
You both are so quick to react.
Tough run.
You're so quick to react, and I'm going to add in another one.
Freo in Perth, who are going to be very hungry and angry this week, could be zipping 3, Jason.
Yeah, they'll be zipping 3, but they've got the ability still to make the top 8. That's ridiculous. Luke Jackson's another one on the agenda. Once again, how quick we are to react about how quick everyone's saying he's already going to leave.
Well, there's some reason behind that. Information would say that Melbourne are speaking to Luke Jackson regularly and the Melbourne players are in Jackson's ear in a big way. Now, that report hasn't come out of nowhere. And I take what he has said during the week with a pinch of salt. We heard Tom Barrass say that. Yeah. We've heard Dan Houston say, I'm not going anywhere. Others have said the same. So the fact that he said, I'm staying, means little to me. Matt Rao said similar in the off-season. We'll wait and see what happens with him. But, yeah, the fact that he said he's staying, that's not any reason to think that he will.
And just on that, when will the AFL be mature enough to be like the NRL and actually just say, yep, I am going to leave, but I'm going to give my heart and soul to this club for the next 12 months?
Well, that's on us as much as anything, isn't it?
Absolutely.
As fans and
have the maturity to have the conversation.
Yeah, I think we probably need to get to that space at some point. It's just about how they use him. If they use him in the ruck, he'll stay because he's dynamic when he's in the ruck. He was quite good on the weekend, but they're talking about extending his contract past 2029 as well. That might solve the problem.
And your point's spot on. Like when he went into the ruck, they were
just playing in the ruck.
They got back into the game in the third quarter. Yeah. Liam Reed is not a forward, so trying to play him forward. Jackson's not a forward. Just unleash him, let him go. But Fremantle are one of those teams that are under the pump. The handball happy Dockers they were. They just kept handballing the footy, Richo, like it was a hot potato. Geelong loved it. Kicked a million goals off turnover and laid 89 tackles and Freo couldn't
It's only round 1 though.
I understand that.
They will bounce back. You're quick to react, you two.
Few concerns.
Paddy Dangerfield going forward, your man, replacing you as the key goal kicker down at the Cats.
Well, he hasn't got many to make up for. It's an interesting move. I was a bit sceptical about it. I just didn't know how he'd fit into the system. So he played 81% as a forward against Fremantle. Just didn't know how he'd fit in. He's a guy that's basically, as a forward, just kick it to me and I'll just figure it out. But Geelong's forward line, even though it has a star in Jeremy Cameron, it functions because of the system with Myers and with Close and with Stengel and Ollie Henry. But he played his part in that system, and if he can maintain that going forward, he's value to kick a couple each week.
Like 215 is a good price. I'll be taking that.
Well, he's not the most accurate kick for goal.
That's true, but he's going to get a number of opportunities. They're playing St Kilda, for goodness sake.
Oh.
Yeah, okay. And Max Holmes went forward and kicked a couple of goals. He's
superstar.
Yeah, he is
on the rise.
Seriously good player. What about this? Has been an interesting issue that you put on. Same old issues at Melbourne.
Yes, this is me. This is one of my babies. So I went and asked the crew at Champion Data about the teams who are the poorest at converting contested possession wins. So when you beat the other team in contested possession and you beat the other team in inside 50. So that combination, Melbourne, unsurprisingly to me, ranked 14th in converting, winning contested ball and getting the ball inside 50 to actual wins on the scoreboard. Because how often do we have to hear it from Melbourne and their fans? We won all the key stats, we could have and should have, but didn't win the game. Only those teams ranked lower.
So I think you're being a little bit harsh now. I'm with you on this one. I think this is a slight overreaction because really difficult conditions. They had 5 or 6 new players playing for the D's.
That is 3 or 4 years worth of evidence.
That is, and what you're saying historically is correct, but just if we're looking at this year and the new Melbourne, They're playing against a very good side in the Giants. They're a couple of goals up with 10 minutes to go, and the Giants kicked 2 transition goals, which Melbourne should have stopped, if not for some critical errors that they made. So I'm willing to give them a little bit more time.
Okay, so what are Melbourne then? Are they a contender, a finalist? Are they in the middle of nowhere?
In a rejuvenation mode, I would have thought. They've got enough stars and experience.
Can Max afford to be
compete.
rejuvenated?
Well, I think you sort of see how this goes out, because sometimes you can bounce quicker than you expect. Now, they have a large group of under 24s that are really talented, and they've got a good group, so their future looks good. And there's enough around them, but it will depend on how good Van Rooyen is. You know, how much you're going to get out of Clayton Oliver. Petrarca looked unbelievable. Will Windsor, your man, go to the next level? He looks like he will. So I wouldn't be putting a ceiling on them. I think they're capable of at least winning a final this year.
Yep.
They wouldn't be my tip to win the premiership, but they're not in bad shape.
They're in the mix.
Yeah, but I think the off-field stuff is always going to be a focus for them. How connected is the group? How they're going to deal with the past?
Yep.
Is the coach the right one moving forward? There's all these questions still to be answered about Melbourne this year.
We've got 30 seconds on the clock. It is shot clock time, and we throw around some interesting topics here. The pups over the pies is one conversation. This week they're called Footscray.
Yeah, they are called Footscray, and they were very good last week. We were both keen on the Roos, and we could get to them if we've got time. But the Dogs look good, and finally starting to see some of their underbelly rise to the occasion.
Yeah, I think what we saw from Collingwood was much more like what we expected to see of Collingwood. So early in the season, I think they're going to be a threat. And still with the Western Bulldogs and so many players out, I think the Pies get this one done.
Question on the shot clock. I don't know who this is to. Is Tex in the Crows' best?
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Yes.
You don't even have to finish the sentence. No, he's not. And we saw that on the weekend. I mean,
he's not.
You got the Thrill Seeker, you got Fogarty. It is their forward line. Play all 3 of them, and good luck to you trying to stop the opposition ball movement out of the back half. There won't be enough pressure on. Taylor Walker is now a good depth player for the Crows. If one of them goes down, he will come in and be very useful in that role. But you're picking the team to play grand final right now if you're Adelaide.
He's going to talk all the way up.
He's not in their best 22.
Are you
Yes,
okay?
he is.
Unbelievable. I could have gone for another 3 minutes on that.
Let's throw Jack Steele and also Brad Hill.
Yes.
Have they dodged scrutiny there?
Yes, and Brad Hill in particular. Jack Steele was okay. Brad Hill, I had a look at his numbers. He had 1 disposal until half-time. He finished up with 1 disposal in the fourth quarter. He picked up 4 disposals in that game of footy, or 5 disposals in that game of footy. They've got so many key players out, he's got to get the footy.
All right, Richard, I think if we put you out there, you get more than 4 disposals in a game of footy.
As long as you get me out wide and have a fence to keep me in, that's the only way. Lions versus Eagles. What will the margin be? I think it's the bet of the century, the Lions for mine, which is 59.5.
10 goals, and I heard you in makeup actually having a chat about this. You really like this. And you're a good judge.
I'm nervous about this.
I'm with you.
I'm nervous about this. The inaccuracy of the Lions, could they kick 12 goals, 20? They've been prone to doing that sort of thing. They should win, based on what we saw from West Coast, they should win this game by 25 goals. What was the biggest margin of victory you ever played in?
Oh, well, it might have been 119.
We know that was the margin of defeat.
Oh,
Yeah, margin of victory.
No, you don't really.
We didn't want to bring that up.
You don't remember the victories. You only remember the losses.
It could be 150.
Yeah, it should be. That's going to be the big question. Now, you've thrown this, and I'm feeling a little uncomfortable about it. I'm new to this footy area. Who's got the best teeth in footy?
Well, yours are pretty good. Have a look
and these are real.
Now, these are our first 3 nominees.
They're not real, though, are they?
Well, I don't know. How would you know? Luke Beveridge has they're natural. They look natural.
They're those.
They're not natural. They're from Dr. Fang.
They look it. Your man TJ in the middle, well, they speak for themselves. Yeah. He's only known as Chomp. But I'm worried about my man Nick Riewold. Rui, that almost looks like a mouth guard.
We're out of time. We're out of
Finally,
time.
Any nominations, send them in.
Send them in, and then we might actually get the best teeth in footy, and we'll put it up against the best teeth in sport. It'll be fantastic. Stay with us. You're watching Kick-Ons.
Steely Green towards Lynch, over the top, bounces towards goal, might be coming up. Waller! Kicks his first in AFL football.
Hope you're enjoying kick-ons, and the Tigers fans are loving their young cubs, led by this young man. Sam Lawler was awesome, and the Rising Star nomination, they're calling him little Junior Dusty, but that might be a big call, but by gee, you had to like it.
Yeah, I loved it because his ability to showcase all of his tools. He can mark the footy, he did that a couple of times down the line. All the tools as well were on display, but also his ability to go forward. I didn't mean that, but he went forward and kicked goals, and he's going to be a player that every time he goes near the football, the hundreds of thousands of Richmond fans are going to light up. He
wasn't on his own, though. He wasn't the Lone Ranger when it comes to the Rising Stars. Tell you what, some of the young guns, there's the market there. So he's moved to the top of the market, was way down the page. Levi Ashcroft, though, the best thing I reckon I can say about him, Kane, is he just looks like he's played 120 games.
He does, yeah. He was going to be the sub, but came in late after an injury and just picked up and got stuck in the footy. Lindsay from Melbourne was really good as well, and Ethan Reed.
Keep an eye on my man.
Oh, he's going to be
your man or Kane's man?
Well, I think I claimed him a little bit earlier than what he claimed him, but he's phenomenal. He's phenomenal. I don't think he will win the Rising Star because playing in that key forward role with a bit of ruck is going to be difficult to do, as opposed to a midfielder who's around the footy the whole time.
My man. Chuck him on the feed.
Okay, $51 if you don't mind. You are a shrinking violet. During the week, we've hardly heard from you, but you have put a young man over in WA on notice.
Well, he's on notice.
Oh, not again.
Yeah, no, he is on notice. Harley Reed. I was concerned about him last year, and gee, the Perth footy media mafia, didn't they get upset by that? And they all responded, but I feel like I was spot on with my concerns around it, as always. But yeah, I think there's been... So this is the vision. We've seen it a lot, but he was petulant. He played for free kicks. But most concerningly, he wasn't able to go with the Gold Coast midfield who torched him at times. And that stuff, he should have been fined for that for staging. But the commentary around the leaders have got to step up and help Harley. The leaders have got to do... At some point, you're 20. He's about to turn 20 years of age. He's not that young anymore. And he knows what he's doing. He is, but he knows this is no good. So get that out of your game. Yeah. Get back to doing what you do well. He's going to be a star. There's no doubt about that. But let's put some blame and responsibility on him to fix his own game.
It's quickly snowballing, this Harley Reed situation. In Perth, out of Perth, whether he's going to stay, he's going to leave. People have already come out and said he's going to leave. He's definitely going to leave. He's still got a contract to honour. The last bit is the bit I didn't like. He's still yapping after the game, and Oscar Allen, the captain of the club, has to come and grab him and stop him from still chirping. That's the part. That's the part where you worry about his personality, and I do worry about if he's got people to lead him.
But is that just frustration? I mean, you've both been in this position when you're young players. You get frustrated that. I mean, for him, he's probably been best on ground in every one of his junior games, and he started the season on fire last year, and everyone's built him up. Is he just frustrated?
Probably, but now there's the target on him, and other teams look to exploit that. Last year he got suspended, he was frustrated. Now teams, you're playing West Coast, you put someone straight to Harley Reed, get him out of the game, get him frustrated, and then get off him and try and hurt him the other way. So there's a fair bit of stuff that he needs to tidy up.
It's a remarkably similar set of circumstances to Jason Horne-Francis. It really is. A terrible team. We're questioning his body language and his behaviour and whether he's going to leave or whether he's going to stay. We've seen this movie before, so hopefully for West Coast fans and the West Coast Footy Club, he stays.
The segment that has taken the world by storm is Kane. It's a segment that you have built single-handedly.
Not making it very hard for me, is it?
The shrinking violet.
He's basically doing my job.
What have you got now?
Well, I tell you what, AI is a concern. Right. AI is a concern in the world because it can do things. It can do things that you're unsure about. Now, I'm unsure about this. The last time I saw you galloping or shuffling, should I say, the Glenelg Beach, you were a skinny little runt.
Yes.
What's going on here?
You're pushing Tim.
Are you doubting that that's actually
that's
me?
Not. There's no chance.
Do you think that's artificial?
Well, we know.
Do you want me to take my top off?
Can you get your shirt off?
Do you want me to take my top off?
No, thank you. Because we know we've got the comparison. Let's bring the photo back up. We've got the comparison with the Chad, and we know the Chad's 2 times the size of you.
The Chad
is jacked.
The Chad pleaded with me not to put that photo up.
Because he looks like a wafer.
For the first time in my life, you've got me. And now that is a confidential conversation that we had.
I need to get it.
He reckons I got him, and I think I do.
We need an assessment of his supplement program.
Let's take the...
Yeah. Linguini arms, Chad. A big shout out to you. Kane has got you. You're watching Kick-Ons. Our bets on the other side. Time for headlines, Jojo.
Yeah, return of the pride of South Australia. And it's been a long time. 2017, their last finals appearance. They look the goods, and I think they'll take care of the Bombers, Richo.
Yeah, I like Adelaide. I think they take care of the Bombers easily. Forget White Lotus. Ross is on notice, so he wasn't watching the young Tigers knock off the Blues on Thursday night. He was watching White Lotus, which is a good show.
Yeah.
But I would think an AFL coach should be across the rest of the competition on a Thursday night. He's too soft now. He's too cuddly. And what makes Ross Lyon great is the hard-nosed Ross Lyon, which we know. Richo, there's yours.
This will be the headline, and it's from Ken Hinkley and Josh Carr, and it's directed at everyone. Give us the respect that we know what we're doing as a great footy club. We will get it worked out. We just hold. Everyone,
Faithful.
just hold and give us respect.
Well, they're playing Richmond.
That's
sure
right,
we're
and
gonna
they
learn
will
too much.
bump them. You know I'm a bounce back guy. I'm big on the bounce back. We saw it with Josh Dacos. We saw it with the Wizard.
Yes.
I'm big on the bounce back, and I think it can happen. The footy trip fund. Now, at the moment, we can't even afford to go to Chadstone. We are stuffed. Our balance is minus
We actually owe
$200. Lost 100, lost 100,
yeah.
so the skipper needs to get involved. The big deal, dog. Here we go. And I've decided to have a multi. I'm having a $100 multi. Port Adelaide at the line, if you don't mind. They'll cover 37.5. Lukosius will kick 2. My man, Jason Horn-Francis, who I've already backed for the Brownlow, he will kick 2. It's going to be over $3.60. So
That's the price.
is it really
Yeah, that'll do.
$3.60?
Yeah.
So
Let's just get a winner.
260 will jump in. I'll be back in front and I'll start to rebuild.
And you will, if you get that, you will stay on.
Of course I will stay on. I can assure you'll never get it back, you two.
Well, we hope so, because that means we've got plenty of shushka.
Exactly. And we're going to go on a wonderful footy trip. Can't you imagine the three of us on a footy trip together? Now, our Kick-Ons weekend multi. Now,
Yes.
last week was a disaster because we got 2 out of 3 and missed by 1. So this week, what are we doing?
Crows by, I'll take the minus 7.5. They'll win by 3 or 4 goals against the Bombers. No Langford, no Ridley. That hurts. Adelaide, big.
You just couldn't touch the Saints at the moment. And Geelong, from what I've seen, they will win by more than 23.5. So that's my leg for the multi.
Okay, and we're all going the line, and I am Brisbane Lions to cover the line.
All favourites.
At $1.90, 10-goal victory. I've got a theory that second up Blues, the young kids can fly fresh. Second up, they're a little flatter and they might be exposed by. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, good call.
So that's our little multi there. Follow us on all of the social media platforms. Kane, I know you're massive on Insta.
Yeah, if you want to check out the pipes.
Be big on the feed if you could find a winner.
Big on the feed. Check us out on YouTube as well. And actually follow us all on the feed. In fact, this is a shout out. I've just started on the feed. Can I get a follower?
Please.
He's pleading.
Bleeding. Put my little things up there.
Roughies.
Richo's
if you're
Roughies.
looking for him.
It's called, mate.
Yeah.
Good calling on the weekend.
Thank you. You too.
Looking forward to seeing you in action. We get to work together.
I think we're working together twice.
Oh.
You just don't know it yet.
Oh, right. I'm very much looking forward to that. Thank you for watching Kick-Ons. I hope your team wins over the weekend. Enjoy.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.